Hello.
Oh, what's happening?
How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. What about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, we're kind of the lockdown is sort of lifting now over the next week, so it's good.
It's the same up here, like, but you've been flat out on these interviews anyway. You won't know what to do.
I'm telling you, I didn't know I had the work ethic. Look at me go.
Fair play. Fair play.
Thanks very much. But yeah, this is going to be this is the final week of them now because
Oh,
I can't spend my days just, going live.
no more lockdown, stuck in the room doing interviews.
Literally, I'd say my neighbours are like, will she ever get off that phone?
Yeah, fair play. Yeah, like, they've been up all the time. They've been hearing good reports. I've been watching some myself. Like, some of them have been brilliant. Like,
Thanks, Stephen. I appreciate it. It's literally just had to keep myself busy, Like, I live on my own, so it was sort of, I just had to work. Do you know what I mean? Because there was nothing around, nowhere was open, couldn't go outside, your 5K or whatever. So,
oh, it's grim, that, like, isn't it?
yeah, really, really grim. But I'm delighted now. My gyms are back open the 29th of this month. So, at least we
Should have
can,
been
like,
one of them castaways and got the football and put the hands on it. Remember? I should have done one of them.
the next one, right? If it doesn't work out the next time, I'll get a wee football.
I'm hoping the next one I couldn't do. Next one.
I know, yeah. But how did you get on? I mean, you obviously were at home for the majority of us.
I was, yeah, home for most of it. Do you know what? It was sort of a blessing in disguise. Like, to a degree, I enjoyed it. Like, I missed the boxing, but I enjoyed being home. I have three kids, and my youngest, she's 9 months now. But when she was born, we were training for the Golden Contract, and I think she was 10 weeks old, and I'd only been home for 2 of the first 10 weeks. So it was good that way. It was good that way to be home with the kids. Like, I enjoyed it, to be fair.
Yeah. I'd say your wife was delighted.
Oh, and at least we know we can live with each other. That's the longest I've ever been home with a wife, and they didn't kick me out. Like, so that's always a bonus, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. At least you know you're always welcome back, Stephen.
I don't know about that. That'd be fair.
So what's the story now? Because obviously, Jamie and Nigel, you're back in the gym. So what way are you working out? Are you over there 1 week, 1 week on, 1 week off?
I was sort of just playing it by ear at the minute. I started back about just over 3 weeks ago, about 3.5 weeks. Now, when we were off the lockdown, I was training away, but just doing my own thing. I'm sure like everyone else was doing, just out running, doing the basic stuff in the house. But about 3.5 weeks ago, me and Frampton started getting the boat over to Manchester. Because all the flights were off, and we didn't really fancy flying if we had the opportunity, to be fair. So we were getting the overnight boat from Belfast to Liverpool, and then Jamie was picking us up.
Mm-hmm.
We were staying over there for 2 weeks, and we were just sort of 11 days trading away, just getting the boat home for a couple of days and heading back over. I was actually over there. I didn't come home until Saturday. I was meant to stay to Thursday, but there's no dates, there's no nothing, so it's a wee bit hard, and a wee bit hard to be away from the family,
Yeah. I mean, of course, it's obviously a lot different for you with three small kids and, like you say, a family. It's different if you do have something. I suppose the sacrifice is like you can kind of level it out in your head where you're like, okay, it's going towards something, as opposed to just being over there training and not know what's coming next.
That's it. Like, being away, you can justify. Like, it doesn't make it any easier, but you can justify being away because you have a date in your head, and you're looking forward to. You need to be in shape for it.
Mm-hmm.
But the way I was playing in my head, I think things will happen pretty fast in the boxing world. I think, I'm sure you know yourself, like, things are going to turn quickly.
Yeah, I think I'd say what'll happen, Stephen, is it'll take a couple of people, like we'll say MTK, to just brave it. Matchroom, Frank Warren, MTK, to brave it, put on the shows. And then once people see that and that it went okay, I think loads of people will follow suit then. I'm hoping.
I think so. And to be fair, like, MTK is always doing something. They're always there. They're always moving. Even during lockdown, they're still moving and making partnerships and just they're doing everything. So I thought it was going to move fast. So the first 3 weeks I was happy enough to go over because I knew that when I get the phone call, I'll be ready. Well, at least half ready. But it got a bit harder than I thought it was going to be. Like, to be fair, just waiting on the phone ringing. The phone wasn't ringing.
Yeah.
And making Frampton his cups of coffee all day, like, watching.
But what was I going to say to you? Because when was your last date out? It was December, wasn't it? That was the golden contract.
December, golden
Yeah.
contract against Blodnik, sorry. That was my
Yeah.
favourite fight. That was my favourite one. I'm really joking, honestly.
It's like a bit of a masochist here.
I'm really joking.
How has it been since, you know, apart from coronavirus, like you were starting the year, what was the sort of mindset starting the year?
I don't know, I think the main goal was not to get knocked out in the first round and the next fight, to be fair. No, listen, it was what it was. I don't regret it. We the plan, you see, was Jimmy for a while now. Jimmy Moore and Nigel were nagging at in my ear to tell me that I'm going to have to move up.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the boxing would see me and always wondered how I'd done light heavy.
Hey, what height are you? You're like
6'3".
Yeah, really tall.
6'3", but I'm broad enough as well. Like, you know, I'm not like, I know you got Burton who's tall, but there's nothing to him. Like, you know,
yeah,
like there's literally nothing to him. But I'm a wee bit broader than him, and Jamie wanted me to move up, but then the golden contract came up, and listen, even though I got knocked out, I don't regret it, because I don't think I'd ever forgive myself if it hadn't done it.
Yeah. Did you feel going into it that if you did lose, that you would have a lot to lose if you lost?
I think maybe it did. It didn't really. I probably did. Looking back now, I probably did feel like I had a lot to lose. At the time, not so much maybe, but at the time, I enjoyed the way the whole dynamic of the thing, where you didn't know who you were fighting. You know, you didn't really have to worry about anyone. You were just training, just sort of doing your best and waiting to see what happens. But it was hard. Like, it was probably the hardest part of my career. Like, you know, first loss, and obviously there was a big opportunity at the end of it. But it's one of them things, like, isn't it?
Absolutely, definitely. When you like, obviously first loss of your professional career, does it take some sort of a pressure off now that the zero is gone, or is it always the hope to keep a clean record?
I don't think, for me, no. I think I noticed in America, I got really over the zero. Like, I think it's a real UK thing. A real UK where you have to keep your zero. And I remember being out in Vegas and we were training with a fella, Stephen Fulton. He's the IBO world champion or something now. But I remember looking at his record and he'd been matched very hard, like really early on in his career. And then seeing other guys that had done well, that had been matched hard early in their careers and had a couple of losses, but were in quality fights. Going home and thinking, like, it's mad the way in UK, like, we have this obsession with this zero, you know, this beaten record, I want to be unbeaten, but yet you're not really fighting anybody of caliber.
Yeah.
Where I think in the States, they're quick to get in and say, listen, I'll get in and have a go to lose, but doesn't mean you're not going to become a world champion. Yeah.
It almost is kind of like a better way of approaching it, I think, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's me justifying my loss. What are you joking?
Just here to make you feel better.
No, but I think since I went pro, I've never had that. I think probably the hardest bit was not performing.
Yeah.
I think the hardest bit not performing for me. If I went in and performed and lost I'd probably been, you know, I'd been more content.
Absolutely. I don't want to focus too much on the loss, because obviously there's been many more wins. There's been many more wins than there has been losses. But when you look at, like, obviously what happens December, and then obviously we had coronavirus, so everyone is on pause. What did you want to happen this year?
What did I want to happen? I wanted to potentially have one fight to almost ease my way back into the weight as a cruiserweight. You know, people forget that as an amateur for 5 years, I was a cruiserweight. And it wasn't until I went pro I came down. So I think it was to try and get my foot back in the door there, have a go of it, and then go straight into a domestic fight. You know, a domestic level fight where there was something on the line, or sort of, you know, that almost gain respect to people again. I think for me that was the plan. Did
you feel like you lost respect?
I
No way.
I do. Maybe, yeah. I think it did. Maybe with myself. I think a lot of people are saying as well. You know, obviously due to the weight, but even though it's due to the weight, I've always seen people in fights that have killed themselves for the weight, and they still performed. To be fair, so I still think there was mistakes. There was mistakes made. So maybe in myself, I maybe lost. I don't know how I'd say respect actually, but I wasn't proud of how I went about the first round when the fight started. I think it was all bad from the word get-go, and that was it. You know.
Your roomie, Carl Frampton.
Roomie.
Your
What are you on
roomie.
about? That man refuses to share a room with anyone. So, like he point blank refuses to share a room. Do you know, this is no word of a lie. When I'm in Manchester and I'm in bed sleeping, I be down in bed and all I'll hear is, Stephen! And then he goes, is my coffee ready yet? Hey, he's still lying in bed, the lazy shite.
That's Christine. She has him ruined.
Oh, I don't know. No, do you know what? I think it's the opposite. I think he does everything in the house, so when he goes away.
He wants to be looked after.
The only good thing is his clothes take up so little room in the water. That's the only benefit, to be fair.
Desperate. But I remember watching. I watched an interview. I can't remember what interview it was, but I remember him. It was after your loss. And he was talking about how, you know, he was, I'm paraphrasing this, not a direct quote, but he was saying that he always wants you to win purely because of how hard that you train. And he hasn't ever seen anyone train as hard as you do. Where does that come from with yourself? Are you very competitive? Do you always want to be the best in the gym, to push yourself to the limits?
I think in fairness, a lot of it probably comes from my old amateur coach. He was a real, not a slave to ever like, but he pushed you hard in the gym, you know, and he wants you to do the best that you could, and if you did, he was happy with it, even if you didn't win a fight. He always wanted you to perform the best you could. I think a lot of it came from him, and I think through him, it got me to a point where it's like, do you know what, fuck it, I don't want to be going into the ring and thinking, oh, should have done that extra weight session, or should have done that extra run. At least if I go in and I get beat, then, you know, I got beat. That's just the way it is. I left it all in. And I think that one of the reasons with living with Frampton, I think he's seen that he seen firsthand what it was like for me making the weight. You know, he used to laugh because, like, he doesn't weigh anything. Like sees him food. Like, I was weighing how much milk was going into my porridge in the morning just to make sure, like, I knew the calories it was in. And, you know, he'd be out at the shop and he's like, do you want to get something to eat? I'm like, no, I'm just going to weigh a baked potato when I fucking get back to the apartment. You know, this is how bad it was. So I think he's seen that side of it. And, but it's a big compliment. Like, it's a big confidence boost to someone of his compliment, like, saying that. I mean,
absolutely. I mean, there's people out there who, to get a nod of approval from someone like Carl Frampton would be a massive boost for them. Do you know what I mean? And he just seems to be really, quote unquote, in your corner all the time.
But he is such a slobber. I swear to God, she lived with the man. Honestly, it's just all the time he's on your back. It's like, don't like when you live with your mum and you say like a word wrong and she corrects you.
Yes.
That's the way he does. Or he'll say to you, like, you'll say a word and he'll be like, oh, I don't even know what that word means. Use it in a sentence. Not me.
I have to say, I watched your quickfire questions. It was brilliant. We need to see more of that. That needs to be a series. That needs to be a weekly thing.
And that's what I'm going to do. There's a couple more of them going to have to come out because he started doing them to me now because he's getting pissed off.
No way. They're brilliant. It's his facial expressions every time you go quickfire.
He gets so annoyed. I've got one here and I videoed. He's read. You see, people think it all comes from just having a laugh.
Yeah.
And it is him having a laugh as well. But so he suffers from this issue called Napoleon complex. Have you ever heard of it? Have you looked this up?
I know a few men with Napoleon complex.
Well, the jackal has Napoleon complex. And if you like, he just tries to belittle you because it makes him feel better for being such a wee small man of stature. You know what I mean? He's just all the time. He just tries to belittle you. So now just get one over on him because, to be fair, you don't get much over on him now.
Absolutely. Well, it's because obviously the two Tyrones have kind of taken the duo championship for the last.
They're mad.
I think you and Carl now could have the stiff competition for the two of them.
Oh, I don't know them lads. There's no limit to the two thrones. There's literally like she stayed at Trump her.
Well, I think it's lovely. I'd be more concerned about.
It's lovely. Genuine.
I'd be more concerned about Tyrone McCullough's eyebrows than I would over Tyrone McKenna's hair.
What about the tattoo of the burrito? Like that's mad. Like,
Commitments.
I don't think I could live with them. I think they're too mad for me, to be fair.
I've obviously interviewed them on here, but I had them in for my podcast as well before coronavirus hit, and it was an hour and a half long, but I probably could have sat there for 6 hours because they were literally just it was like watching a comedy skit or something. It was incredible to watch. It was brilliant. But is that important? You know, is it important for you to have relationships like what you do with Carl to kind of help you on this? Because I mean, it must be so difficult, especially being away from your family.
I think it definitely softens the blow. Because the first year I was in Manchester, I trained with Oliver Harrison, who obviously trained Jamie Moore and Amir Khan and Martin and Rocky and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was over there on my own for the first year, living in like Airbnbs and just literally bouncing about. And it was all my own the whole year. And I remember just thinking how shit it was.
Yeah.
And then when the boys came and Oliver took sick and the boys went to Jamie, I ended up going down to Jamie. And I've just been so lucky since then because it's such a camaraderie and a good laugh. Like Tommy Coyle is retired now, right? And Tommy's the biggest messer you'll meet. But he's a heart of gold, but he's the biggest. So I heard he was coming down to the gym. So he still comes down and takes us through training, does a bit of pads. And I heard he was coming, but I had a pair of shorts on. Now he debags everyone.
Oh, so sure. Look, the Eddie Hearn video.
Oh, what a video. What a video.
He's a brave man. That's all I'll say. He's a brave man.
I can't believe he done it, Eddie Hearn.
Of all people. The fact that Eddie was wearing a pair of shorts that weren't tired as well is like, I mean, just
teabag my promoter here. Like, imagine Bob Arm or something getting teabagged. But I heard that Eddie didn't do it, but when Tommy was fighting in New York, when he was fighting Algeria, he was stood in the scales, and Eddie was going to teabag him.
No.
Yes, but he decided, last minute, he decided not to. But Tommy was coming down to the gym, and I heard he was coming down. I had a pair of shorts on, but the string in my shorts had broke, right? So all the boys laughed at me. So I got some boxing tape and literally taped the whole top of my shorts as tight to me as I could because I just knew he'd debag you.
Boxing is a dangerous game, as they say.
It's not much to see in fairness, but it's just in case. You know?
But it's always so nice to hear of the stories of the gym and the camaraderie and the training and the laugh that you have, because I think that's what sort of, the boxing fans, that's what they kind of want to hear as well, outside of obviously the fights and seeing people perform. They want to, it's the banter, isn't it? That's what, kind of makes the kind of community of boxing.
Yeah, and that's why, and Jamie's got it down to a T. Jamie's a great coach, but more so a great guy, and so's Nigel. They've literally all their chest at heart. Good lads, and they make sure whoever comes into the gym fits into the gym.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's some people I know that they've asked to come to the gym, and Jamie will actually talk to us about it and be like, listen, lads, what do you think? And if we don't think so, then it doesn't sort of happen.
Because I imagine if it's if you're a new pro and you land in your gym, I imagine it might be, a little bit intimidating. I mean, look who's in the gym. I mean, world champions, obviously, and even with Jamie as well. Do you know what I mean? What a career. Yeah,
Jamie had a flipping great career, tough as nails, and Jamie's very good boxing brain, since I've been with him, he's very good at boxing, bringing and explaining, and when you go to Jamie, it's not about him crafting you into a new boxer. He just tries to develop you. That's it, I think, which is I think why most of the boys are having success.
What do you think has been the kind of, I suppose, standout enhancement that he's brought to you as a coach?
Do you know what? I'm laughing because I want to say my defense, even though I knocked out my last fight, right? Because Jimmy, when I was sparring, I would always do everything that's very comfortable to me and I do right, which is almost natural. But Jimmy's a big believer in putting you in uncomfortable positions and situations you don't necessarily want to be in. And he won't let you do anything else, you know. Say if it's sitting on the ropes or staying inside, and he purposely puts you in these situations, and you know he'll say, right, you can't punch, you know, in the spar, you're not allowed to attack, and you've just to defend, and he just does this over and over and over, and then it just gets muscle memory, and the next thing you know, you're doing it without realizing.
Brilliant.
He's good, and Nigel's the same, but they're chalk and cheese. They're two different coaches in a way. Like Nigel's what we call the grafter, like so he pushes you hard with pads, where Jamie pushes you hard, but he's more brain training, what we call, you know. Yeah.
Is it true? Does Nigel still working in the fire station?
Oh, Nigel.
How he does what he does, I have no idea.
And he does the amateurs. There's amateur must-out gym.
Mental. I watched his interview ages ago when it came out. Carl's the TKO, and I watched your own one on it as well. It was brilliant. But I remember Nigel's in particular, him saying that like he finishes in the fire station at 8:30, and then he's in the gym for like 10:30, 11 o'clock with you, doesn't sleep, and then trains all day or trains you all day. It's just to do that every week, like I need 9.5 hours every single night sleep, or I'm like I can't function. Do you know what I mean? It's nuts.
Well, that's it. Like he does 2 days days, 2 days nights, 4 days off, right? But he's always in the gym. He's never unless he's on the days off, then he can't make it. But he'll do the nights. So he'll do a night shift, then he'll pick us up from the airport, right? He'll take us to the gym. He'll take us on a session. He'll you know, so we're maybe finished about 1 o'clock, and he's worked all night. Then he goes home. He says he has a couple of hours, 3-4 hours sleep, and then he goes and trains the amateurs. And then his amateur gym is at his fire station, and he literally walks into his fire station and starts all over again.
Fair play to him.
We were down at the gym, and I think there was a hotel. I wasn't a gym, it was a physio. There was a wee coffee machine. We were there 15 minutes, and he had 5 coffees, and one was a double espresso. Just drinks coffee. I've never seen him drink a glass of water ever. I've never seen him drink a glass of water. He just coffee's flat out, and every time you say to him, mate, you're gonna get sick, he just goes. He always says, "Sleep when I'm dead, dickhead." That's all he says.
Fair play to him.
Fair play to him. If he had a tenner in the bank, he would give you it. He's that type of man.
He's always been very, very nice. A good crack anytime I've met him. It's always at the MTK shows. And do you know what? He's a bit of a celeb as well with the audience. They always be grabbing him for an L photograph.
Oh, here. What about Bram went down to buy a new car, right? And he bought it from Leeds or something. And he went down and Frampton waltzed into the big sports car place. So Fram waltzed in with his wee dander, the one that he has. And Nigel walks in behind him. Your man comes up to sell him the car. Didn't have a clue who Fram was. Went to Nigel, was like, "Oh, can I get your autograph? You were on Peaky Blinders." Nigel was loving it. He was running about loving it. He thought he was King Kong.
Brilliant. What a story. What a story. But I'd say he was snapping all right, yeah. But am I right in thinking this day last year was your title win, European title?
Aye, yesterday Conroy, aye.
Oh,
Aye.
yesterday, a year.
Some scrap, aye.
Some scrap. I watched it again this morning just when I knew you were coming on, but
I remember talking to you after, sure.
Yeah. That's the first time I interviewed you, yeah.
Let me get stitched up first. Like, let me have blood and all flanted everywhere. You were here. Come here, you get this interview done. I was like, oh, I'm pretty.
You have to move fast in this industry. I've seen this so many times where fighters go, I'm just going to get stitched up, I'm just going to get this, and then they're gone. And then they get showered and they get changed, and then they're out with their family, and then there's no chance.
My eyelid was literally talking to me, and you call me over.
My apologies. I'll let you get sewn up. Hopefully you'll never have to get sewn up again. So I think even when Gary Cully won his Irish title, he was like, can I just have a drink of water first before I do the interview? I was like, okay.
This your slave driver.
It's them IFL guys as well. They jump in real quick, so I have to try and get in before they run, before Andy and the lads run in. But yeah, that was a great night and a great venue. Probably it's closely coming up to like one of my top 3 venues to work in. Such a good energy in there always.
Love it, and it's a shame because boxing wasn't in that Ulster Hall for so long. It literally just sat there. I think you had the Ulster Orchestra or something in it, but MTK came and literally have just made show after show. It's been.
I remember, like, even from it's hard to explain to someone that doesn't get to see a venue before the audience comes in, but you know, if you do any of the large shows, like any shows that have got TV exposure, and you kind of walk, like arena shows, you walk around and you kind of feel the energy, and then you see the crowd coming in. MTK have somehow managed to like capture that feeling of the big arena shows, but in Ulster Hall and in York Hall, and it's really special, especially in that venue, because it's kind of like what's the thing that gladiators fighting? Like
a big arena, like a big gladiator arena.
Coliseum. It's kind of like the Coliseum, the way the crowds are all up along the sides, isn't it?
It's probably my favourite place to fight on, because when you're in the ring, you almost feel like if you lean back too far on the ropes, you're going to hit the people on the balcony.
Yeah.
You know, you feel like they're so close. The people in Belfast, the boxing people in Belfast are phenomenal.
They really are. They're just, and the one thing I noticed about Belfast crowds as well is that it's from the minute the doors open, there's like a big long queue out onto the road. Everyone comes in, and from the first fight to the last fight, they're up on their feet just screaming and singing songs.
That's because we're all stingy and want to get our money's worth and watch the full night's boxing. That's all it is. Paying 30 quid for a ticket, they're like, oh, I'll be there from the start, getting all my money's worth.
Well, it works. Can't wait for it to come back. I miss it so much.
It's great venue. Like, it's great venue. And even though we say it was sad that there was no boxing in it for so long, and look at it now, MTK's just got it back to back.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it won't take them too long to put on another show.
Definitely won't.
Right, I'm going to just go into the question box and see what everyone wants to ask you.
I haven't put too many people to sleep. Born Ward is the call.
Derek Flynn has asked, your fight nickname, The Quiet Man, where did you get that from?
Good question, because you probably noticed that I'd talk the leg off a stool.
Yeah, people always say that I think it's because you're reserved. You're just reserved and like maybe soft spoken. I don't think you're boring at all, Stephen.
Thank you. It's because when I was a kid and I was a little lad, I used to wear a Peaky Blinder hat all the time, right? But when I was running about, people always say, oh, what do you do? You say, I'll do a bit of boxing. You always go, oh, you wouldn't know you're a boxer, you know. So people always have this misconception a boxer walks about slobbering, spitting in a bucket, you know, Jack the lad. And my dad always used to say, oh, he's the quiet man. Like John Wayne, the film.
The movie, man. Yeah. I used to watch it with my granddad years ago.
Well, there you go. So my dad used to say to me, he's like a quiet man, John Wayne. And that's where it came from. You know, he was a big lump of lad, but didn't thought about. And he used to call me a quiet man. When I went pro, it it just stuck to me. It just summed me up where you don't have to run about being an arsehole.
Yeah.
Just go about your own business and just be a decent fella. And that's where the quiet name came from.
Absolutely. It's funny. Sometimes, I mean, I think in boxing you can get characters who are quite loud and sort of aggressive, and they kind of have the sort of social media aspect of things sewn up. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it's good bit of banter and it's good to see, but other times maybe not so much. So it's nice to have a nice balance of different characters, I think.
No, I agree. I think sometimes and fights, a lot of fights get made off it. Like
Yeah.
I'm surprised how many fights get made on social media. People calling people out and maybe I should start going on and just calling people out.
Yeah. The new
Just
you, the new post-corona you.
No, I know. Go out and start calling out Prius or something and try and fight everything. But no, you're right. I think it's about getting a fine balance. It's not to be a big fruit like and big softy, but just be yourself, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Can't go wrong if you be yourself.
No.
There is a message from Emma Walsh, and she said, I have one boy who is 14 and wants to start boxing. I'm very nervous. Would you let your own kid start boxing?
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't allowed to box as a kid either.
Was there no boxers in your family?
My granda, but that's why. So my granda was a boxer all those days, but he was old school boxing. You know, he come home almost punch drunk, you know.
Yeah.
You know, the old horsehair gloves and his face all marked up. And my mum would have seen that. And she's vivid memories of it. So as a child, she never wanted me to box. We weren't allowed to box. And I asked her, and people wouldn't believe it, like, but when I was a kid, when I was really young, like 10, I was a wee shit. My dad used to call me the magpie because I would steal everything. Like, if it wasn't nailed down, I would take it. And it was just stupid stuff, you know, like kids do.
Yeah.
And I started boxing. And my amateur coach just taught us respect and really taught us how to have respect for yourself as a person. My wee boy now, he's 4 or 5. He's just turned 5. And the eldest now, she's older. She doesn't really have much interest in boxing. She knows a wee bit, but I would get both of them into boxing if they wanted to, because I think it teaches them morals and discipline, how to just be a decent person. And have self-respect for yourself and others.
Absolutely. And even if they're not even if they do for a few years and don't fight, I think the lessons that they learn on the journey of, you know, doing it once or twice a week.
Aye.
And I think with kids, they don't really understand, you know, what they're learning or what kind of how it's developing them. It's just kind of like, you know, as a parent, I suppose you're like, okay, this is definitely going to help them in the long run.
Yeah, they don't go in and just think it. They don't just go to one gym session and come home. As you say, it's a snowball effect. It's just a matter of time, and you know, being told to do something. You know, especially as a kid, like going home and being told, listen, don't be eating no sweets. You know, you need to get yourself in shape, or don't be doing this or don't be doing that. Our amateur coach actually used to make us train every Sunday morning because he stopped you going on the drink as a kid on a Saturday night. You know, you knew you were training the next day, so you didn't go on the piss.
Yeah, and you know what I say? It sounds so strange, but when I started training, like I started jiu-jitsu when I was 30, and like when I started, I got so obsessed with it that I stopped drinking, I stopped smoking, like completely changed my life 160 degrees, like completely. And I used to have that thing of like all my friends would be going out on a Saturday night and I'm like, no, I got Sundays are the best day in the gym because we'd have like an open mat and it would be like open training. Then we'd all go for food afterwards. So I'd be like, oh, I want to be fresh so I can train on a Sunday morning. It's just crazy how, you know, like martial arts or combat sports can just do that to your brain, you know?
And jiu-jitsu is a tough sport.
Yes, it is, my friend. Yes, it is.
Like, my brother done a wee bit of, like, nothing big, but he done a wee bit of it. He enjoyed it. And they were grown men, and he was lying in the living room floor one day, and I walked past, like, I think I was 27, and I walked past, he's 28, and I walked past and kicked him. He was lying on the ground, and we had a bit of a wrestle. 2 seconds later, he had his leg over my neck and my arm out. I was calling my mum. I was going, Mom, Mom. And he came in, and then it was from there that I thought, oh, this jiu-jitsu's not. And I watched a wee bit of it.
Yeah.
I think.
It's tough. I think if you don't do jiu-jitsu, it can be very hard to understand if you're watching it as a sport. Like obviously
Yeah.
with MMA, you know, people have sort of a vague idea of what's happening. But yes, toughest thing I've ever done. I don't think I'll ever do anything that will be as tough as starting jiu-jitsu and staying doing it for 5 years. Definitely.
It's an all-round, like it works everywhere, doesn't it? Like, am I right
Yeah.
in saying? Like it works everywhere. It's not just like worry about everybody. It's an all-rounder.
100%. We might see you have an MMA debut. Okay, we'll take one or two more questions. Mark James has said, "Nice lockdown cut, Mr. Ward."
Yeah. I'm very lucky. My hair is self-cutting. Cuts as well.
Stuarty Armour, I think it is. Stephen, best way to be disciplined in losing weight? Close the fridge.
Don't eat shit.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I think for me, the thing I hate about people go one extreme to the next, is in like, right, that's it. I'm not eating chocolate ever again, you know, and literally just stop it. Everything. Like Chris Avalos is a great example. Like, he talks about everything in proportion. You know, when he's in training fight camp, he has the old glass of wine and stuff. You know, he doesn't have a bottle and get full, but he has the old glass of wine. I think it's about setting yourself a wee goal and a wee target. Where you say, okay, at the end of the night, I'm going to have whatever it be, 2 squares of a dark chocolate or something. You know, that gives you something to look forward to. Obviously, water's key. You know, people don't understand that the more water you're drinking, the better it is for the body to digest and just feel better. A lot of people say when you get up in the morning, 2 pints of water. I still do it in the morning as soon as you get up. It's a hard one. It's got to be goal set and just decide that you're going to get in better shape.
Yeah.
This is the thing. People's always looking the quick fix. There is no quick fix. Like all this detox tea, you know. It's all a pile of shit.
It's nuts, isn't it? Like, and it's only when you are either get informed yourself or you're around people who are, you know, who work in the industry or like yourself are boxers and have to cut weight. So you know what works because it's part of your job. It's part of the description of your job description. So when you see people on the internet, you know, 12 packets of my skinny tea and you'll drop 12 pounds.
But tell a do you know what? For anyone looking away, for me, intermittent fasting, I think it's phenomenal. I think it's I've done a lot as a light heavy to make 175. I would usually do a 6-hour eating window a day.
What time would you start? Would you eat straight away when you got up, or?
No, I prefer training on empty. And we wouldn't train with Jamie until about 12. So you eat from about sort of 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock at night.
That's not bad.
I liked it. I liked it. I really thought it worked. I loved it. And then one day a week, I would do a big 23-hour window fast and 1 hour all you can eat, you know, just meat and veg, carbs. So I think intermittent fasting is a brilliant way for the body to like rebuild and it works for me. Like.
What about drinking? Would you only drink like out of, well, obviously you won't be drinking in camp, but would you just have a drink maybe when you're celebrating after a win, or would you have a beer at home, or do you not drink at all?
I have the odd beer. I'm a whiskey man. Like I like whiskey or Guinness. That's really it. But I have the odd beer, but not that much. Not that much now. I have 3 kids. Like, flip me.
No hangover is worth it when you've 3 kids.
Hangover with 3 kids, you just can't do it. No, I have the odd one. Usually after a fight, me and the wife or something will go away. We'll have a couple of drinks. I like a drink now every now and then, but nothing too mad. Like.
Good to hear. Okay, last question, and it is from Shane Smith 237, and he's asked, who has inspired you the most in your career?
Probably probably when I was a kid, there was two people. It was Neil Sinclair, and who went on to win the British title outright. But he used to be in our gym boxing. I remember as a kid just watching him hitting the bag and the whole rack of the bag shaking. He was a massive puncher. There was him and a fella, Stephen Kirk. Not many people know Big Kirky, but Big Stephen Kirk was from Belfast. He's actually from the Shankill. And he was a phenomenal talent. Like, as amateurs, he went senior and he was knocking out everyone. But I think it was through his brain. He had a cloud in the brain or something, had to stop boxing. But they were probably my first two as a kid. And then when I got older, I fell in love with Evander Holyfield.
Oh, yeah.
What a man.
Yeah. Unbelievable. What a career is that?
I love watching him. And you know, probably my favourite round of boxing was him versus Cooper. And it was the third round when they're just literally punching the head of each other. No technique or anything, just getting stuck in. But I love him. I thought he was always a great fighter, and he seemed pretty disciplined as well, even early on in his career. So it was. I would say Carl Frampton as well, but I'd get too much grief for that. So.
Do you know, saying that though, Carl is so many fighters that are fighting now. He is their inspiration. Like, he's got so many fans that are actually, you know, his peers. It's really cool to see. It is. It's great.
I'm very lucky to be around him, to be honest. I wouldn't tell him that there because he'll get on.
I'm absolutely not going to send him this when this is up.
Yeah, don't. We should maybe blanket spit out. But it's definitely been. He's probably the one man that in training at the minute. Since I went pro, he's constantly giving me advice. When we're in the gym last week, and he was saying, you know, you should try this, and he was giving me examples. He says, you know, it suit you down to a T, and he'll rhyme off who does it. He'll say, you know, let's say Klitschko versus Lewis will do it, and he says, you know, you'll see it in this, and he'll give you examples, and then, because why would you not want to learn off him? Like, while he's there, if you're disposable,
of course.
You know, it'd be silly not to. And he's a phenomenal boxing brain.
What is the standout with Carl that you've recognised? Like, what separates a two-time world champion to your regular professional fighter?
Probably confidence would be one. He's a very confident man and is not cocky, but confident in his abilities. But his adaptability. When I've seen him in the gym sparring behind closed doors, and you've seen him spar countless, doesn't matter who he's in with, he figures everyone out. And you see other fighters that are, you know, world-class fighters you've been lucky enough to see sparring in the gym, and they go in and someone's maybe getting the better of them, but they still keep getting caught with the same shots, where Fram's different. When he's in the gym, he's in with someone, if he gets caught, it doesn't happen again. You know, he adapts and he figures out ways to do it, which is probably the main thing I've took away from him, trying to put it into place. He's just smart in the ring. Like, I wouldn't tell him that, but just when he's in spawn, he can figure people out and he can figure out what to do, and how to counter something, and how to sort of not even counter, but just numb someone if they're doing something in particular. His boxing brain is very, very good, and I think it's. People probably don't talk. Well, people do talk about it enough, to be fair, but he's very, very good at that. It's probably the one thing I've took away that I want to do more of.
Brilliant. Very, very final last question, because it's from Lerone Richards, another professional boxer himself. Actually, he's fighting very soon, just got announced. But Lerone has asked, what goals do you want to achieve before the end of your career? Oh, Stephen's gone. Let's see if we can get him back.